So crime rates have plunged in cities and counties across the U.S. over the second half of March as the coronavirus pandemic drove millions of people to stay home.
Yeah, joining us on the KOGO News Live line, law enforcement specialist Dr. Alex Del Carmen. And Doctor, break these numbers down for us.
Good morning, and thanks for having me this morning. Well, ever since we had the shelter in place across the United States, we've seen a sharp decline in certain crimes, right? So, for instance, when it comes to burglaries, we've seen anywhere between 10 to 30% decline across the U.S. We've also seen a decrease in the number of murders, but that stands to reason, right? When you think about how many people are actually at home, well, criminals are staying at home as well. So it does make sense.
All right. So was there a rise in certain types of calls, though?
Absolutely. And what we've also seen is an increase in the number of calls relevant to domestic violence across the United States, as well as child abuse. And so it also stands to reason that people are home, and therefore you would have an increase in those behaviors in the past 60 to 90 days.
What do you think is going to happen when we start to open up again? I mean, do you think that we're going to see a big spike in crimes, or do you think it's going to be kind of come in waves like it does?
Yeah, we criminologists are really careful about predicting such trends, but I will tell you with some degree of certainty that crime is likely going to be going up as we go back to this, new normal that everyone's talking about. And there's no question, right? So once you start putting potential victims and potential offenders out in the street, your crime rate is going to definitely go up. And plus, crime's been at an all-time low in the past few years. So we've been talking a little bit about how it was going to increase regardless of that. Now you've got the economic pressures, you've got the, having been at home for the past 2 to 3 months, and all of those elements are going to come into play in the next few weeks.
I would think that, obviously residential burglaries are going to be down because people are at home. So, there's no sense in if you're a burglar breaking into somebody's house if everybody is at home, which is kind of weird, when you think about it. But outside of domestic violence and child abuse calls, are we seeing property crimes go up at all?
No, in some cases we are, but that's really, sort of sporadic and depending on the jurisdiction. For instance, some of the businesses that have actually, been closed up now for over a month, bad guys and criminals will look through the window and see perhaps there's equipment there and may want to steal it. So there is some of that. But throughout the United States, we've seen a reduction of burglaries. What we've also seen, however, is an increase on neighbors complaining on other neighbors, right? Which also stands to reason as to, loud noises coming in and perhaps, somebody doing something to the fence that ticks you off. And so bottom line is when people are home, there's a different type of behavior that takes place and crime is affected by that.
Law enforcement specialist Dr. Alex Del Carmen joining us on the KOGO News Live line. Thank you so much.
Thanks.